Alrighty then, take two. This is Dumock the Artist coming at you once again from my hidden bunker deep within the bowels of the city. I changed things around a little bit just to make things a little more presentable. But I want to address this video to Sister Sunshine in response to her, hang on, let me see if I can dig it up here. Her her prophecy, pestilence, and occultism video. Just to address a couple of things that she stated, and I kind of want to do a little bit of conspiracy talking here. But number one of the things that you addressed was the whole biblical prophecy slash, is this something that we should be taking a look at? Is this something that should make us reconsider our faith, etc., and so on? To be honest with you, Sister Sunshine, if anything, it would prove the lengths that many people within the Abrahamic religions would go to in order to fulfill Bible prophecy. Now, as you and I both know, or at least when I was in fundamentalist Christianity, there seemed to be a really big push as to find out the fulfillment of certain prophecies in scriptures. But looking back on it, I'm thinking to myself, what if, instead of some divine plan being manifest, this is actually a plan by the extremists within the Abrahamic religions to bring about the apocalypse, the end of the world, and the return of the Messiah? If you think about it that way, it would make sense that they would try to find any means possible to fulfill those prophecies, so that way they can convince the their respective populations, look, see, Jesus is coming back. Look, see, this is what's going on. Look, see, the prophecies were correct. Now, if that is the case, then we're looking at a conspiracy that essentially is geared towards bringing fear and genocide and death and condemnation and guilt. This is not necessarily for the benefit of humanity. This is about control. So this is where we have to say, you know what, maybe the prophecies that are being fulfilled might not necessarily be fulfilled by God, but by rather people who don't have our best interests in heart. Something to think about. Now, as far as pestilence is concerned, well, given the fact that like the Ebola virus in Uganda, I don't want to sound like a heartless prick, but I'm going to, mainly because given how incredibly messed up this situation is, you have to understand that in Uganda and in several other parts of Africa, they have been engaging in some rather destructive behavior. The Kill the Gays bill being one of them. The persecution of the witch children being another. If you look at these things in that context, it could just be that a virus is evolving and a virus is changing, a virus is developing, and it's being strengthened under conditions which are less than optimal and becoming a lot stronger. That's a possibility. Now, if I were to put a religious spin on it, which again is going to make me sound like a heartless prick, think about this for a minute. They have been engaging in a culture of death, fear, superstition, and just being downright fanatical in their beliefs. Don't forget that Uganda is primarily a Christian country. Well, Christian. And that fundamentalist Christians have been going to Uganda for years to spread homophobia and hate. Now, if that is the case, religiously thinking, I would be looking at it from the perspective of, well, if they're trying to kill other people, maybe they're reaping what they've sown. Again, I sound like a heartless prick, I know, but I'm just trying to explore all other possibilities. The most rational one is the fact that there have been a problem with diseases, and given the behavior and the activities of many of the people in Uganda, it would make sense that this virus would be developing and creating problems for them. It's not fair, it's not right, we should do everything in our power to help them, but it is what it is. And there's not really a whole lot we can do about it aside from sending medical help and avoiding having Ebola come here, which would be a really bad thing. The last part of your video, the occultism, I'm coming at this from the perspective of a person who was an occultist or still is to some degree. You have to understand that the Olympic Games were originally dedicated to the Greek god Zeus. Now, that may have changed over time, given the persecution by the Holy Roman Catholic Church, and by the destruction of many holy sites and the slaughtering of many pagan priests by the Christian Church. But let's think about this for a minute. Supposedly, there are blood sacrifices going on, according to your video, in the Olympics to whatever gods there are. Is that any difference between those blood sacrifices and the blood sacrifices we're making in Iraq and Afghanistan and in many of the other countries that we're planning to invade? Again, focusing on the Olympics is like looking at a molehill and trying to turn it into a mountain when there's an actual mountain right in front of you. The issue being that at the current moment, the blood sacrifices are not necessarily coming from the Olympics, although there's a lot of energy going on there that we don't know about necessarily. The blood sacrifices that we should be concerned about are the blood sacrifices where we, the United States, are invading other countries on behalf of other countries, where we're becoming a mercenary force. And this is something that you may want to consider and think about. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you think? I want to hear from you. Post a comment down below or make a video response. I'd like to hear from not only Sister Sunshine, but for anybody else that may be watching this video. This is Dumac the Artist signing off. Slanchini Falcha. Have a nice day.